What do you fear? What escapes the certainty of your rational mind? Is it an object, a thing, a place, a person, an event? Maybe you don't even know what it is, because you can't put it into words. There are some fears that are too vague for names. A nagging uncertainty, miscreated in the unknown, a nebulous, undefined area, a Twilight Zone. Rod Serling's seminal anthology series, The Twilight Zone, explored the different kinds of fears that were present back in the 1950s and 60s. An influential piece of science fiction that presented us with characters facing inhuman circumstances, offering brief morality tales that served as metaphors of the current society. Most of its relevancy remains undulled by time, because some fears are very stubborn. The fear of the unknown will always remain, and it prefers to hide behind several masks. Today we will take a look at 3 of them. They recur frequently in the Twilight Zone.
You're not being rational, Miss Tyler. Now you know you can't expect to live any kind of a life among normal people.
It's easy to be wary of a monstrous creature. Its size, fur, scales, or fangs immediately give us pause and compel us to be on guard. But what if you can't see the monster? What if it looks and sounds just like any of your friendly neighbors? The fear of the unknown can manifest itself through distrust in our surroundings. Our defense mechanisms can activate once we are met with the unfamiliar, and people are no exception. A small dose of skepticism can be healthy, but a generous amount can be impairing, as the monsters are due on Maple Street can show. A group of neighbors begins to doubt one another after the power goes out, because they believe one of them is an alien. Gradually, that doubt turns to accusations.
Let me tell you, you're starting something here that's what you should be frightened of.
Which leads to escalating violence and bloodshed, corroding the once peaceful street.
It's Don's house!
It's the Williams house! It's the kid, I tell you! It's Charlie! He's the one!
This episode plays on the fears and paranoia present during the Red Scare. Not only the fear of having a spy live close to you, but also the fear of being suspected as a communist, or someone deemed undesirable. It also showed that the enemy didn't need to invade to conquer. All it had to do was to exploit people's insecurities, to sow doubt, and have the neighbors kill each other off.
Throw them into darkness for a few hours and then sit back and watch the pattern.
And this pattern is always the same?
With few variations. They pick the most dangerous enemy they can find, and it's themselves.
Eventually, there would be no one left to make a stand.
What you're about to watch is a nightmare. It is not meant to be prophetic. It need not happen. It's the fervent and urgent prayer of all men of goodwill that it never shall happen.
We can find comfort in the past, and hope in the future. But if you live in uncertain times, the future can look obscure. Not knowing what comes next can be worrisome, especially when living a few years after the Second World War, and during the Vietnam and Cold Wars. Nuclear conflicts seemed to be a very real possibility when The Twilight Zone first aired. Witnessing the dark scale of human destruction can skew anyone's outlook. Unlike Black Mirror, which presents us a future where our relationship with technology becomes detrimental to humanity, The Twilight Zone shows us what could happen if certain world events followed their natural and destructive course.
The Civil Defense Authorities request that if you have a shelter already prepared, go there at once.
The Shelter episode explores what happens when the fear of imminent nuclear war causes people to turn on their own friends.
You got a bunch of your neighbors outside who want to stay alive. Now you can open that door and talk to us and figure out with us how many can come in there.
Destroying any civility and bonds of friendship in order to maybe have the chance of surviving. The eye of the beholder occurs in a totalitarian society. A la 1984, the leader on the screen spouts his message to his followers. He and his people are the ones who decide who is considered acceptable and who isn't.
Who makes all these rules and traditions and statutes? The people who are different have to stay away from the people who are normal.
Similar to the Number 12 Looks Just Like You episode.
Just think, very soon now, you can look like that.
This bleak future brings limitations to free will, creativity, and individuality, to be replaced by uniformity and blind obedience.
Transformation has become a normal part of growing up. It's a sign of maturity.
What? Being like everyone else?
It's an alternate timeline where people have forgotten the mistakes of the past and willingly repeat them. Like in The Obsolete Man, we are shown a reality where people have to conform to a strict worldview. Anyone who is considered to be non-essential is branded to be obsolete and is murdered. Similar to Fahrenheit 451, reading is prohibited, and like in The Hunger Games, some of the executions are broadcast for all to see.
I'm a human being. I exist. And if I speak one thought aloud, that thought lives, even after I'm shoveled into my grave.
It's chilling to put yourself in the shoes of anyone living in such a world, to be stripped of your humanity and remain indistinguishable from any other mindless drone in the service of the governing philosophy.
I want to serve the state. Please.
They are bleak what-if scenarios asking, how far can things go? What if our negative human behaviors keep going unchecked? Do things just keep escalating? Will the future just be increasingly foreign to us? A growing spiral of errors, expanding towards the arrow of tomorrow.
Nightmare. Must be a nightmare.
It is indeed, but whose? Yours? Mine? The Scotsman? The Danny Johnson? Just whose nightmare is it?
Part of our fear of the unknown is that there is very little, if anything, we can do to control what's to come. There are situations that are completely out of our human reach, and we find ourselves at the mercy of random life-altering events that we struggle to face or understand. In The Midnight Sun, the Earth's distance from the sun has changed, sentencing humanity to a slow and impending doom. In It's a Good Life, people live in constant fear of offending an all-powerful child.
He shouldn't have thought those bad thoughts. That's why I made him go on fire.
Who can exterminate them without a second thought if he doesn't get his way. Time Enough at Last shows us a man surviving a nuclear apocalypse by mistake, and for a moment, seems to be on the verge of thriving until in a twist of irony, he's left lamenting his fate, all alone.
That's not fair.
To Serve Man presents us a world where aliens are visiting Earth, bringing forth world peace and offering humans the chance to visit the aliens' paradise of a home, until we learn that the aliens are just fattening people up to eat them. Or in 5 Strangers in Search of an Exit, we see a character waking up in a place he doesn't recognize, with people he doesn't know, with a purpose he ignores.
We're nameless things with no memory, no knowledge of what went before, no understanding of what is now, no knowledge of what will be.
It's a reminder that there are things in this world we are not meant to surpass, but to reluctantly accept. We can only see through the keyhole, but we were never meant to go through the door. Just like the next fear. A fear we all share to some degree, because we've heard of it, and probably even seen it. The thing at the bottom of everyone's to-do list. In the Twilight Zone, we see many characters trying to escape it, dissuade it, or stop it. But they're all met with the same futility. Death. As humans, our relationship with death is very unique. As far as we know, we are the only creatures aware of our looming expiration date. We even fool ourselves into believing that it won't happen yet, as if we had any say in the matter, or we forget about it altogether. But death waits patiently regardless of how you feel about it. We fear death because we don't know how it will happen, or what it means to meet your end. For all of our knowledge, hopes, and best guesses, we don't know what's beyond the door. In the episode Nothing in the Dark, an old woman, knowing her time is near, is avoiding letting death inside her home. But one day, she hesitantly lets an injured man inside. She tells him she's afraid of the dark, and will do anything to avoid going to the other side. But the man comforts her, revealing there's nothing to be afraid of. What's in the dark is the same as when the lights are on.
It isn't me you're afraid of. You understand me. What you're afraid of is the unknown.
He reconciles her fear and helps her accept the next step. Because death isn't too unfamiliar. You've been there before. The place before you were born. At some point, we all have to return to the unknown. Thank you for taking the time to watch our video. We invite you to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. We would also like to thank today's composer, Eduardo Gonzalez. He made some of the music from our earlier videos. Please check out his information down in the description if you like his work. We also want to say that we're starting a Patreon soon. We're just putting everything together. We'll announce it as soon as it's ready. We're grateful for all of our viewers and your very kind and ongoing support. Until next time.